Chat. Hey, everybody. It's me, Tuniscia O, and welcome to Tea with Tuniscia O. We are going to talk today about forgiveness. Of course, we're always going to discuss forgiveness and different aspects of forgiveness. And so today I thought it would be fitting for us to discuss forgiving ourselves for giving our services away for free. If you are an entrepreneur, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know that conversation where people say, "Can I pick your brain? Can I ask you a quick question? What do you think about this?" And when people ask you, "Can I ask you a question?" It's okay. Sure, you can ask me a question right after you cash at me. And it's okay for us to allow people to pick our brains, but we give away all of the content and now they don't need to pay us. Or how about those cakes that we have? Now, in the beginning, yes, you're probably going to do more volunteering. You're going to do more freebies. You're going to do more of those things. Why? Because you're building your social proof. You're building yourself up. But when we find ourselves still in that time and time again, then what do? We got to make some shifts. And please throw comments in the suggestion box, whatever comments, because this is totally a dialogue and not a monologue. We're going to have this open conversation. So let's go into it. A lot of times we pray for abundance, we pray for wealth, we ask God to give us all these things in our lives, but when He pours things into our laps and He sits it right there in front of us, we don't really know what to do. And if we don't come from families that have businesses and we don't really know what to do, I get it. I totally understand it. But now we're in a day where we can Google just about anything. You can YouTube just about anything. And if you surround yourself with people who are business minded and like minded, they're going to support you without you even knowing it. You just do little tips. So I have some friends that are really excellent in business. And so I'll go to them for what they are experts in, and then I will give them something that I know. It's called bartering. So the areas that I'm expert in, I give that to them. It's a trade-off, right? It's just not always a take. But the people that I find want our things for free the most are who? Family, friends, because they saw us come up through all of it and they figure, you owe it to me. You should be giving me everything for free. And that's just not true. But until we realize that our family isn't necessarily our target audience, and then we forgive ourselves for, how do we get here? Maybe it's our low self-esteem. Many of us just don't know how to ask for the business. We don't know how to say it costs X amount of money. We don't know how to say this is the price or these are the fees. So what do we want to do? One, we want to realize that half the people who are just picking our brains, they may not even be our ideal client. So we want to know who our ideal client are in the first place to see what it is. If you're just starting off, yes, you do want to have a couple people who do a trial with you in this or that, but don't just give everything away for free. And if these people really love you and are your friends, they're going to understand, because see, if you're a coach or offering different services, training, things like that, they may not value it the same as if they see a physical book in their hand, or you are selling shoes, which is a physical item. But guess what? If you're doing transformational work and you're really helping get to the root of how to build a business and all these things, then you want to charge the same way. You can't walk into a Tony Robbins event and expect him to just talk to you for free. You're paying, right? Exactly. That's exactly right, Sheila. You're learning to charge your worth. But here's the question, Sheila, and I'm glad you said that. Do you know your worth? Do you know your value? Do you know how precious you are? What sweat equity did you have to put in? What trauma, what pain, what things did you endure to even get to the level of knowledge that you have? You went through something. I know I went through a lot. As I work with all of you people on forgiveness and things, I know what pain and trauma I went through. So I can't just give these things away for free. You have to know what you went through, but know that those scars were for a reason. Now, let's be clear. If you just have a hobby, that's one thing. This is a hobby, you're doing it for fun, but I know a lot of people who have turned a hobby into multi-million-dollar companies, right? Is this a hobby, or is this something that you're building your generational wealth and your legacy on? And see, we wonder why our families get frustrated with us, because we're like, I gotta work. And they're like, but you're not making any money. because we keep giving everything for free. If you are in a situation, perfect example, if you're somebody who decides that you're coaching people, hey, Martha, if you're coaching people, then it's not a matter of giving all of the answers during that one session. It's asking questions, it's digging in a little bit, and then you let them pay for the rest. And if they don't pay for the rest, don't think it's because you don't have it together. It's because they just aren't your client, right? And Sheila, please share what you did in order to realize what your worth was. What is exactly that you did? So ask for the business is a key thing. And how do we ask for business? A lot of us don't know how to do a sales pitch. Okay. Knowing a sales pitch, because a lot of us are giving our services away for free because we're thinking, maybe I didn't say it right. I don't know exactly how to go about it. I don't know. We're going to make mistakes. We have to allow failure to be our friend. Listen, if you are not failing, it means that you are not playing big enough. If you are not uncomfortable, you're not playing big enough. If you haven't heard the word no at least 1,000,000 times, you're still not playing big enough. We have to put ourselves, if we want those $1,000,000 contracts, we want that book deal, we want to be a New York Times bestseller, we want to be on the stage in front of all these people, whatever it is that your dreams are, you have to put yourself out there, because yes isn't what's going to come every time. Remember, we talked last time about us becoming desensitized to no. We have to be okay with people saying no in order to get to the yes. And sometimes when they say no, they give feedback. You can ask questions like, why? Well, was there something I could have done differently? Or what do you think? Do that. Know your competition. What is your competition doing? What is your competition what is it exactly that they are selling? What is it that they are charging? Who are their demographics? You want to know your competition, not because you're competing with them, but you want to understand your market. And if you're new in the market, you may not know how much people really are making. There are some people that are at a phase in their speaking careers where they are okay with paying to speak in a particular venue. They may do that. Meanwhile, there are other people who are being paid $10,000. What's the difference? The person who is paying to speak, they may know more or be more of an expert, but they just don't know how to go about it. So this comes down to our confidence, and it comes down to our pitch, right? Does everybody have a pitch? Do you all have a sales pitch? What is a sales pitch? When you meet somebody or they say, what do you do? If it takes you 3 to 5 minutes to talk about it and you need to give the backstory about your grandmother, how you got there, that's not a pitch. That's a story. A pitch should be about 15 seconds. Typically, we hear people say an elevator pitch. That means that if you're on the elevator, you're able to that fast tell somebody what it is you do. And if you have a pitch, please share it in the comment section. I would love to hear what your pitch is. So if somebody comes to me and they say, oh, hey, what do you do? I'll say, oh, I'm Tuniscia O, the CEO of Blending Our Love Incorporated, and I support women globally with building wealth through forgiveness. Now, if this person is interested in what I've said, and then I leave it. If they're interested, they're going to ask follow-up questions, because many times we are so busy talking about ourselves and what we do, and we feel so important that we're not even paying attention to the fact that the people are looking around. They're trying to go get themselves another glass of tea. They're now on their phones texting. They're like, oh, please excuse me, walking away. And then we set ourselves up to feel like, dang, is my business not good enough? Our confidence is shot down, but it's because we're not talking to the people who really need to hear about our business, right? On another note, when you're out at networking events, everybody doesn't need your business card, because every person isn't your ideal person to connect with, okay? So, and it doesn't mean that you don't have the proper business. It just means you aren't set up. So now we're going to have this pitch, 15 seconds. The way I read it somewhere where it said, basically, by the time you need to take a breath, you should be finished talking. If you're steady breathing, it's too long. You've lost your attention of the people. And so even if you were able to, they were your ideal person, you've missed them. Another thing to help you build business is listen. Listen. My daughter told me, she was like, Mom, I had never heard it. I think I don't know. It doesn't matter. She was like, Mom, that's why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Because so often when we meet people, and especially if they're a celebrity or somebody that we think can be of great value to us or great influence to us, we're so busy talking that we want to tell them everything about us. Like, look at me. But really, sit back and talk to them about them. People love talking about themselves the same way you do, so do they. So what I've learned in many of the rooms that I have entered literally globally around the world is there are sometimes I actually laugh now that I kind of understand this concept. I laugh because there are times that somebody will start talking. I don't even tell them my name. Like, I don't even get to say what my name is because they don't care. They just want to tell me about them. But guess what? Can I tell you a secret? The loneliest song that you will ever sing is the Me, Me, Me song. The Me, Me, Me song is the loneliest song of all. It's just lonely. Okay? So no one wants us to just be talking about me, 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 me. Listen to see what other people are saying. That's how you get to hear if your services will fit in. That person might be your ideal client. They might not become your client, but you might be able to learn some things. So I've learned a lot by just being really good at asking questions. And then I've had situations where I've asked a lot of questions and I've been quite engaging. And then what's funny is the people will say, this was the best conversation ever. And I'm thinking, I didn't even say anything. So I also got to see how I showed up by me just being quiet and observant to see how people talk about business. But when it does come to a time where people say, tell me more about you. I don't even know anything about you. I keep seeing you, but I don't know anything. And you get to share. Now, here's our time, guys. In order for us to build our wealth, we have to know what we're selling. This is not the time for us to tell people that I do Avon, I do Mary Kay, I'm part of 4X. Oh, and I speak on the side. I am the soccer mom for my kids. No. Wherever you are, even if you do have several different ways of generating wealth, I love it. I'm here for all of it. But just know your audience in that moment. Know where you are. Who are you speaking to? Because everything is not for everybody. Be ready with your pitch. If you have several different companies, then you want that 15-second pitch for wherever you are. You understand what I mean? When I'm talking to corporations about the work that I do, I'm not just saying helping moms build wealth through forgiveness, because the reality is there are men and women. Now, my passion work is for mothers. I'm a mother, and that's what I do globally. But when I'm walking in and I'm training corporations, it's just different. Is it any different with what I'm teaching? Nope. Same thing. Same thing. You're not tricking them. You're not doing anything. You're just going to go ahead and make sure you're in the right lane of what you're talking about. Because if you're talking about something and you're trying to connect, but you're talking about something to the far left, they don't even understand. They're like, this isn't a good fit. Right? So remembering what your pitch is, create your pitch. If you haven't, please let me know what it is. And it's important that we are uncomfortable many times in our journey through entrepreneurship, meaning we are putting ourselves out there to ask for business. That means that people will say no, people will say yes. Then we kind of tweak it to see what works, right? Maybe I should say it a little different. Go in the mirror and practice. Practice, practice, practice. If you guys are on social media, every person on social media should know what you do. Not only should they know what you do, they should know what you charge. Offer various things. These are things that even for me, as I'm out traveling, I got to remember social media is free. Okay. So every post isn't just about your business. It's personal life. It's business. It's something that's free. You're gonna rotate it through, but you get to see how well people are connecting with you by what your response is. If it's crickets, that means we need to go back to the drawing board and maybe tweak some things. Not always, give it time, but you want to be at pace with it. Have your team of people that you can ask questions to, bounce things off of as well. So my question to you is, what are your fears? What did Sheila say? Sheila said, this is not regarding her fears, but she did write, she tried to be affordable on my up through on constant repetition of customers, but I realized that most people really don't appreciate me versus, okay, so it's true. Most people don't appreciate you. Gotta charge, gotta know what you're charging. You have to know who your audience is. What are you talking to? The only way you're gonna really get comfortable and step outside of your fears, we're always gonna have a level of fear to some degree, right? But the only way we will really get comfortable is to jump out there. If you hear no enough, at some point you're gonna hear yes. But I've heard it said time and time again, I don't know anyone who has become successful and their success came from their success. No, your success comes from your failures. You appreciate success so much more when you've failed or fallen. A child is more excited about learning how to walk once they've fallen because now they're like, I did it. You won't know what it really feels like. How can we build up the level of gratitude and appreciation if we always are winning? We're just always winning. No, but the only way we will continue to win and to know what that excitement and that gratitude in the core of our soul is if we hear the words no. Okay? And the only way we can hear the words no is if we keep putting ourselves out there. So here is my charge to all of you. Find something this week that is going to step you so far outside of your comfort zone that maybe they'll say yes, maybe they'll say no, but it pushes you outside of your comfort zone so that at least you look back to say, I did it. I did it. It doesn't even matter what they said. I did it. I had a friend recently, a couple days ago, she did a pitch. It was like a pitch contest, right? And she's really good at the one job that she did, but she recently decided to shift and do a new job. So when she did this pitch, she did it on the new company. And was it as perfect as the first one? Probably not. Because she didn't know it so well. She didn't have all the answers, but she was believing the word, like the God told her to do this. And so she was trusting. So she did the pitch and she didn't win. And a bunch of people were coming to her later and they were like, if you would have just done the other thing, you probably would have won or you would have done much better. But she was like, I just trust what I was told. But here's the thing that I said to her. I said, I'm proud of you for trusting yourself enough to know what to do. And see, had you come out the gate and you would have won that pitch the first time on a company that you haven't even fully launched, then you would have felt like, I arrived. You would have just put your head back and said, yeah, I got this. But the fact that you didn't win, now you get to sit back and process. You get to watch the video of what your pitch was. You get to see where you want to tighten some things up. You get to see what it is you want to do different. And that's where the growth comes. Some of you guys are afraid to go on Facebook Live. And I get it. It's kind of scary in the beginning because Lord knows when I first started doing videos and I was like doing 30-second videos and I would do like 25,000 takes before I could get a proper 30-second video, which was insane. But now I'm to the point that I do better when I go live. But here's my question. If you are afraid to go live on Facebook, how do you expect to speak in front of millions of people? How do you expect to achieve the goals that you have set for yourself? How do you expect to pitch yourself in front of these big companies that you want to work with if you can't go live when you're in the comfort of your own home? I'm just asking for a friend. How can we grow? We can't grow unless we really take a moment to, first of all, let's just be honest with ourselves. I've had some of the most difficult conversations with myself where I had to get real on what my strengths were and what my weaknesses were, what my fears were. What are my fears? Like my fear of failure, my fear of success. People forget that part. Some of us are afraid of success because if we succeed, our family will tell us, you ain't this, you ain't that. Our husbands may not rock with us the same way. Like we fear success sometimes as much as we fear failure, and therefore we self-sabotage ourselves. We play real small. Let me just get a little bit. But no, that's not what it's about. It's for us to grow as grand and as big. Not all of us want the same thing. Not all of us want to speak before millions. Some of us are okay with having that mom and pop shop where we are serving our local community and our community is loving us because we need people to serve our local community. Some of us are okay selling our cakes just among our close friends and the referrals that we receive. Not everybody wants a big cake store or a factory to make cakes manufactured. We don't all want the same thing. But the question is, do you know what you want? And if you do know what you want, are you going after it fully or are you playing small in order to make everybody else comfortable? Are you charging for your worth or are you charging a little bit less because everybody tells you that you're charging too much money? Are you giving things away for free just to keep the connection because you're afraid of that people will never pay you for whatever it is you're worth? Listen, my loves, You are valuable. You are priceless. And as I said before, whatever it is we went through, we did not go through it to suffer broke. Abundance and wealth is a mindset. If we aren't abundantly grateful for where we are right now in the midst of the storm, in the midst of the pain, in the midst of the things that we do not understand, I promise you, you won't get to the other side where you're just so overly excited by all the wealth you're surrounded by. What do I mean? Look at the people who commit suicide with $100 million in the bank. Don't celebrities kill themselves all the time? Don't celebrities overdose on drugs all the time because they're trying to heal the pain? We do that because we're trying to take something else. But many of us think as soon as I have all the money, I'm going to be happy. No, the confidence that it's going to take to build that business, that might be the thing to give you your breakthrough. The confidence to tell your friend who keeps calling you, asking you to pick your brain, to say, hey, come on now. Even my best friend, who I love, and I'm always giving things to. She's my best friend. Do you know from time to time she cracks me up, she'll cash at me? It's a mess, but it's funny. She's like, I'm cash apping you for that tea. That was good. And I don't expect that, but it's nice to have that best friend who just thinks of you enough to say, you're worth that cash app. You understand what I mean? So know your worth first, and then we get to move forward. So what have we talked about today? First off, is this a hobby or a jobby? What exactly are you doing this business for? Is it a hobby or a jobby? Which one? You get to decide. Because if it's a hobby, knock yourself out. But guess what? People even who have hobbies make money. You collect baseball cards, those cards they cost a lot of money down the line. You collect coins, they cost a lot of money over time. I have a friend who collects mugs. Real talk, true story. The girl bought a mug. I don't know what she bought it for. She bought it at a Starbucks. Guess how much that collectible that she didn't know was going to be? $20,000. Someone paid her for that mug, for that hobby, $20,000. True story. $20,000 for a mug from Starbucks. I might be lying if it was Starbucks, but I'm almost positive she told me it was Starbucks. But the point is, even hobbies make money. How come we aren't? But the key is us digging in one more time to remember to forgive ourselves for wherever we are stuck. If we feel like we are going to throw up or be sick to our stomach at the mere mention of money when it comes time to charge, breathe. Just breathe. Because some of our connections with money, many times it comes from our childhood and our trauma with however we were taught, whatever we were taught with regards to money. But I know, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to a job every day and they're not paying me. I'm not doing it. And many of you won't do it. But it feels like we feel safer when it's somebody else's corporation, company, investment. They put all their sweat equity into it. It's okay for us to ask them, but how come we can't ask for our own? See, we're building their family's legacies. And I'm not talking about the people who love 9 to 5. I love people who are employees because we need employees. We need beautiful, dedicated, committed employees. Not what this is about. But what I am saying is the same way we can speak up, make phone calls, and build somebody else's vision and legacy, it's important that we have that same vision. Because if our employers, if we have employers, if they are giving away their services for free and they come to us to say, oh, you know what? We're not going to make payroll. Because we just decided to give all these services away for free this time. So next time, we'll ask. What would you say? You'd be like, no, I want my money. And that's exactly the same thing we need to say now. Build our confidence. Okay? You guys are fierce. Fierce ladies. You got this. So please reach out to me. I'm excited to hear how and what you're doing to forgive yourself to grow through the uncomfortable phases of asking for money. Charge what you're worth. What is your value? People only see the value in you. And I'll tell you the truth. Many people don't even appreciate anything if it doesn't cost money. Have you noticed? Give away something for free. They don't value it. Why do I say that? How many free conferences are there? There are free conferences all the time, and the joints will be empty. Yet, have you been to a Tony Robbins event where like the cheapest seat is $500 and the more expensive seats might be like $15,000 and the joint is jam-packed, 20,000 people in there? Many of you will say, that's because it's Tony Robbins, Tanisha. That's because it's this. No, it's because he knows his worth and his value. He has become an expert in his arena, and now he is charging for his expertise. But he had to start somewhere. He had to. If free stuff was loved that much, then everybody would just take everything for free. We would just change things. Everything is free, but it's not. We see more value when we pay for something. We appreciate things. When you think about how much you paid for something, don't do that. Don't touch those shoes. You know how much I paid for that? You know, if your kids want to borrow your parents, no, you can't borrow my shoes. You know how much that costs? We put more value on it when we know what we've gone through in order to get it. So listen, beautiful queens, know your worth, know your value. If you have questions, you're welcome to shoot me any questions, but really take a moment to decide who's your target market. What is your pitch? Pay attention to yourself. How do you show up at networking events? When you're at events, are you singing that lonely song, the me song? I'm this and I'm that and I'm this and I'm that. Or are you actually just going in to listen, learn, and gather? If you find yourself, this is another thing. You know how often I look out to support my friends? My friends have events all the time, and I'm there to volunteer my time, to give to them. What can I do to serve you? The more you give, the more you receive. If you find yourself in a lonely place and no one is supporting you, I'm going to say, check to see how you're showing up for those people around you. I'm talking about giving away services for free constantly if this is your company. I am not saying don't donate your time or volunteer or support people. I am a huge philanthropist. I give away a lot, time and money. So I'm not talking about that. I am happy to do that. But if you are asking people to cash app you, if you are telling people you can't pay your bills, and if you have been asking God and praying God to bless you for the last 10 or 15 years because you are struggling to the struggle, then we need to reevaluate what's really going on. That's what I'm talking about. Because God has not called us to be broke. Yes, there will be valleys and there will be times where there's dips and different things happening. But if that is your resting place, we might not be serving the same God, because mine is a God of abundance. And for all of us women who love calling ourselves Proverbs 31 women, I want you to know she was a beast. That girl worked. She worked. She got up before it was daylight. She went to sleep when it was late at night. She grinded and she gave back. And she honored her husband with her words. I'm sure I'm stepping on a couple of your toes. And that's okay. Because that's where the growth comes. I know people stepped on a lot of my toes. And that's why I'm like, I'm tired of you stepping on my toes. Let me get myself together and start moving my feet a little faster so they can stop stepping on my toes. Listen, I love you guys. I love you dearly. Let's be the best. Let's continue to ask. Know what we're worth. Ask for what we're worth. And make it all work in our favor. From my family to yours, I absolutely love you to the core of my soul. If no one's told you that they love you, I love you. You are worth it. You are valuable. You are a precious gift. You are God's daughters. I love you. I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao.